Hey, Launch Techers, it's Tracy. How are you this afternoon? Today I'm going to talk about video, and this is the final installment in the series I did on the 7 tools you need to launch online. And you can find the full post with all of the different resources at launchtechmadeeasy.com. I have a little bit of a cold today. I was hoping if I waited long enough that the cough would go away. So we'll see how this goes. So today, as I said, we're going to talk about video. I'm Tracy from launchtechmadeeasy.com. And I have to say that video is one of those places where it's really easy to get bogged down with choices and all of the fancy options. And you're absolutely going to see people online using really, really fancy video done in a professional studio, using super fancy shots. In a lot of cases, they might even be using B-roll, and it's video that's taken long before the video actually goes live. So you'll never see B-roll in a Facebook Live because that's not quite that sophisticated yet. At least yet, it isn't. But B-roll is video that usually shows like behind the scenes footage. I've seen it where it's shown people windsurfing or jet skiing. Sometimes it's using a drone. A lot of times it'll show behind the scenes things like the person in the video making coffee in the morning or going about her business in her office. That all is called B-roll. And it generally doesn't have anything to do with the video itself or the topic of the video, but it serves to sort of tell the backstory. And what I'm finding is that too many new online business owners see those really, really fancy videos, and they feel like until they can have that level of sophistication that they really don't want to do video at all. And, you know, other times people are getting really caught up in having the perfect backdrop or just the right lighting setup or a really expensive fancy video camera so that they can, you know, have exactly the shot that they want, this super fancy shot. And the thing is, all you really need to do is pull out your phone, use a small tripod or a selfie stick, and, you know, get outside where there's good and free light. And if the weather means you can't be outside, use natural light inside your house. A room with really large windows or a patio door works great as long as you don't have a bright light behind you shining into the camera. So if you just need a little light for your face, consider a ring light that fits on your camera. Now I'm going to show you what mine looks like, but you're going to see how much difference it makes. This is the ring light that I use. It's just a super little clip-on, and you can see how much difference it makes when I clip it on around my camera. And of course, right now I'm using my laptop, but it is designed to actually clip right onto your iPhone, and it makes a huge amount of difference in the lighting. So I hope that I didn't mess anything up when I took that off. I also have, if I'm outdoors, I have a little teeny tiny baby lapel mic, and I have little covers that you can put over it too. And I can clip this into my phone. I need the little doohickey. If you have the special iPhone little tether thing, you need that. But I can clip this onto my lapel, and it really helps with outdoor noise or wind noise or whatever. I don't generally need it if I'm in the house. But sometimes if I am a little bit further away from where my camera is located, this little lapel mic can come in handy. And I'll tell you, be totally impressed because I think this cost me like $8. And then finally, I have this little mini tripod that I can use, and it's spring-loaded. Your phone fits right in here. This moves up and down, and you can use it as a selfie stick like this, or you can set it on, you know, something else and use it as a tripod, and it's super, super handy. All of this, well, not the bag. The bag came with the microphone. All of this, including the light, which is now back up on my camera, cost me like less than $25. So, you know, it's not a huge investment, and it really can improve the quality of your video. So you don't need to have a big fancy setup in order to do video. And even if you're not doing the live, I mean, if you're just recording on your little ring light, and the lapel mic can be really, really great for just recording any type of video that you have. But that's what I use. Now, once you shot your video, you have a few options for editing and delivery. Now, the easiest and most cost-effective is to upload your video right to YouTube when you're done. And there are some really basic editing options in YouTube. So you can change the first couple minutes of your video on YouTube. You can, start it a little 5 or 10 seconds into the recording. And that can be really useful if you're like fussing around at the beginning of your video with getting, oh, you turned it on and then you realize the camera was pointed crazy. Or sometimes on a live, you might want to say hi to people, but you don't necessarily want that on the long-term video that you're going to be showing to people down the line. So you can edit out those first few minutes. You can also on YouTube change the thumbnail, the picture that people will see when they look at your video in an index. So, if they find you through a Google search, or if they find you on YouTube, there's that picture, and usually it's like, it's almost always a thumbnail. You have your mouth open and you're making weird gestures. So if you don't want to use that thumbnail, then you can put a customized thumbnail in there. And one tip I have for you is right before you start shooting your video with your phone, we're going to say that we're using a phone because we're being, take a still shot of yourself. And that way you'll have a good picture to use in the thumbnail once the video gets started. And when you're all done, it'll be the same setting, the same lighting, all those kinds of things. Okay. And then once you get the video up on YouTube, people will be able to find it through Google search. So I use YouTube primarily for things that I want people to find. So it's generally my free content. If I have something that's private that I don't want anybody to see, then I post it on Vimeo. And I do that because it's less likely to accidentally be seen by somebody. Now, if you want more options than what YouTube provides, there are a ton of other programs out there depending on Mac or Windows or how experienced you are. I actually use Camtasia to do a lot of my video editing, but there's a ton of other options out there as well. And then once your video is uploaded and edited and all that, and you have it either on YouTube or Vimeo, you can then put it on your site by embedding it on either a page or a post. Now, this sounds really fancy and really complicated, but in truth, it isn't. On YouTube and Vimeo, you will find, you can even, put the word embed in the help area and it will explain to you how to do this. But you get a special little code that you can paste right into the text edit area or the HTML area of the page or post on your website where you want the video to appear. And when you put that code on there and publish the page, it's going to show the video right on your page. Now, what you do is you never ever want to host a video directly onto your site. So you don't want to record a video, turn it into an MP4, and then upload that MP4 on your site. Well, there's a lot of reasons you don't want to do that. I'm not going to go into all of them, but that is, you don't want to have a media file like that directly on a WordPress site or your website. For one thing, it's going to slow it way, way down if you get too many of those media files on there. So that's my first tip of best practices is don't host your videos on your site. Host them on YouTube or host them on Vimeo and then embed the link on your site. So the video itself actually is living on YouTube or on Vimeo. Now, if you're worried about the security of Vimeo or YouTube or them losing your video, you can always keep a copy of it somewhere. You can keep a copy on a hard drive or something like that. But in order to show it to people, you're going to want to host it somewhere else. Number 2, best practice. Number 1 was the hosting. Don't get bogged down in editing. People really like the natural feel of a live video. And if you get things too perfect, you lose that connection with your audience and they just won't resonate with you as much. So don't get too caught up in making the editing perfect. I usually cut out the last few seconds or the beginning few seconds sometimes maybe the last few seconds, because you're always going over to push the button if it's a live. So I might cut that out. And then I'll pop in a different thumbnail for the beginning, because my thumbnails are always super crazy. So I don't ever leave the original thumbnail. Number 3, if you want more than just basic editing done. So let's say you have done your video on your phone or whatever, but it's long. It's maybe, 20 minutes, 30 minutes long. It's, selling something, or it's an important piece of content for your site, and you really do want it to have that professional look. I really suggest you find someone on Upwork or Fiverr or one of those services to get it edited for you. Unless video editing is something you love to do, it's much more cost effective to hire someone else who already has the software and the equipment and the knowledge to just get it done for you, because it can be really complicated. Video editing is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. There are a lot of things I will tell you can do on your own. I do not recommend that you edit your own video unless like I said, you're just taking up the first few seconds or the last few seconds, or plopping in a thumbnail. Anything much more than that, I'd leave it to the professionals. So like everything else you do in your business, like I'm always telling you, don't make this more complicated than it has to be. There's going to be plenty of time to have very sophisticated video with professional videographers and hair and makeup and drones and B-roll and all of that stuff. When you're first starting out, that's not where you need to start. So I hope that helps. Good luck. Happy shooting video. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. I'm at Tracy@LaunchTechMadeEasy.com or Facebook /LaunchTechMadeEasy. Thank you. Bye-bye.